Who does not love a good old-fashioned legal loophole to wiggle somebody out of a DUI or any sort of case, right? In my 31 years defending cases, it's the best part of my day to find that one little gem, right? And we're gonna talk about the Atwell case because I want you to see, can you spot this loophole right away? Here's what happened to Atwell. She is at a bar and she is getting drunk, and then she goes out to her car, starts up her car, and guess what happens? The security guard at the bar and another patron at the bar is like, girl, you are so far gone. We are not going to let you drive. Let's call a cab. Let's call a taxi. But you are not going to drive home. And she starts arguing with these people about whether she's going to drive home. And she gets in her car anyway. And the security guard blocks in the golf cart and doesn't let her leave. Now, can we pause the scenario right here? Life lesson, folks. You know how many DUIs I have seen that started out with some patron at some bar or at some party or whatever saying you shouldn't be driving. I don't care whether they're right or wrong. That is not the life lesson here. The life lesson here is two different people told Atwell, you should not be driving. Do you know it does not take psychic abilities to figure out what is going to happen if you don't call a taxi? They are calling the police. They already did call the police, because every other DUI I get is somebody called the police when somebody didn't listen. This is what happened to Atwell. So my advice is, even if you're okay to drive, getting into an argument with people who are only going to call the police when you get in the car, you're just going to be pulled over down the road. The cop is just going to give you a bunch of stuff that you don't want, and possibly a DUI. It doesn't make any sense. You got to listen. Now, I know this is like a catch-22. Yeah, John, but I was too drunk to listen to anybody. Okay, you got me. All right, let's talk about Atwell. Blocked in by the golf cart security guy. Of course they have already called the police, of course. The cop gets there and Atwell is out of her car because she's no longer backing out and stopping because the golf cart's blocking her. So she stopped backing out. She stopped driving. She got out of her car. She's now just arguing with everybody. And the cop comes and she's arguing with the cop and says, you know, I'm refusing everything. And she smells like alcohol and the bloodshot eyes and everything you would expect, whether it's true or not, that you would expect out of a cop that does DUIs. Just, yeah, this is what happened. And she gets arrested for DUI. Where does the loophole come in here, folks? Well, some of you caught it. I know you did. Some of you didn't. I know you didn't. But Atwell goes to a motion to suppress hearing and says, Judge, this officer did not have probable cause to arrest me for DUI. The loophole comes in, well, John, you're begging the question, when does an officer have probable cause to arrest somebody for DUI when they did not see them driving, right? Because the officer never saw this woman driving. Remember, when the officer got there, she was already outside the car, blocked in. She was just outside the car arguing with everybody. Officer never saw her driving drunk, never saw her driving at all. Can an officer arrest somebody for DUI without ever seeing them drive? Of course they can, but there are three statutory reasons for them to do that. So let's get over these three statutory reasons, and then you will see what happened to Atwell. One reason that an officer can arrest you, even though you're outside your car, even though the officer never saw you driving, is if the officer is investigating an accident, right? That's obvious because everybody gets out of their car when they've had an accident. The officer doesn't have to see you driving. He can still arrest you for DUI. He doesn't have to see you driving. Number two, the officer can arrest you also if another officer says, hey, you know what? I saw this gal driving. That's okay then. The arresting officer doesn't have to see it if one of his fellow officers saw it. Now you may say, is the security guard a fellow officer? No, it's a security guard, not a fellow officer. The third way that you can get arrested for DUI without a warrant for the DUI is if the officer just saw everything himself, maybe from a distance. Yeah, I saw this girl trying to pull out of this parking spot. I'm glad you blocked her and I could see she was staggering. I just couldn't get over there. But that's not what happened here. So on appeal, Atwell got her DUI thrown out. Everything was thrown out for the reasons we just said. There was not enough probable cause formed by the officer to say that this woman committed DUI. This officer needed to see something happen. Either an accident needed to happen. That would have been fine. If she bumped the golf cart and caused an accident, we wouldn't be having this conversation. But there was no accident, and the officer did not see her driving. The lower court, by the way, the trial court, thought that this DUI conviction was okay because the lower court said, well, there are wheel witnesses. There are 2 wheel witnesses from the restaurant bar, the security, and another witness from the bar that saw her driving. That's good enough for me. But that's not good enough under DUI law. The officer cannot take the word of civilians that that person was driving and arrest that person. That's just the way the law is. Now, let me see if I can give you that statute. It is, well, 901.151 is the general statute saying, look, officer, if you want to arrest somebody for DUI, here's the various ways you can do it. Atwell's situation, not on that list, folks. Her DUI is gone. Done. Dismissed. If you've got a DUI situation here in Central Florida, I would love to help you out. That's what I've been doing for over 3 decades. Give our office a call. Otherwise, you can also help us by just liking, subscribing, thumbs upping, whatever it is that these big companies want us to do these days. It would help us out. Thank you.